Well, hello there and welcome back to a brand new video where today's video, guys, we are talking about tiebreak. And the reason why we're talking about tiebreak is tiebreak links to Rugby 24. So tiebreak is obviously a tennis game. It's a game developed by the guys over at Big Ant Studios and also being published by the guys over at Nakon. So these are the same companies working together to produce Rugby 24. Now, tiebreak, as you guys may have seen from my previous videos, tiebreak has been delayed twice. And it was meant to come out, I think, sometime in 2024. Then it was supposedly going to... No, we're in 2024 now. It was supposedly meant to come out in 2023. And then it was meant to come out near the end of 2023. Then there was a delay. And then there was talks that it was going to be early January. And obviously we're kind of near the end of January. And then Big Ant Studios announced that there was going to be this kind of early access. Now, from my previous video, I said early access could be coming soon. We don't necessarily know when, but we knew it was coming soon. I think it was around the 11th or 12th of January. And we have some more information. And we have some pretty interesting information that could relate, but maybe Rugby 24 could also follow this because, we don't know where we're going with this. Like I said, there isn't too much information, right? So what we're trying to do, or especially what I'm trying to do, and the help from you guys, was a massive thank you to everyone who's been, leaving comments, sending me Instagram DMs, Twitter, etc., giving me guys some hints and some news and whatever. Really, really appreciate it. And it really helps me out because sometimes, I'm looking for information, but some of you guys go, "Oh, Matt, have you tried it? It really, really helps." So if you do have any more information or anything like that, feel free to let me know and I'll give you guys a shout out. But basically what we saw on Twitter was a lot of you guys were saying, "Oh, Matt, have you seen this tweet? Have you seen this tweet? I've seen this tweet." And basically what it is I think I made a YouTube short about it, but basically someone was asking Ross. Obviously Ross is the CEO of Big Ant Studios, of the developer for Rugby 24 and various other games. And he goes, "Hey Ross, it appears most games gets this sponsor/approval protracted process. Is there more of a streamlined way of doing this moving forward? Kind of centralized workflow, remove barriers, etc." So what he's talking about is that the reason why tiebreak has been delayed, right, is due to sponsorships, approvals, etc., right? And when you have a lot of licenses, it can technically affect a delay of the game because you have all these licenses in terms of maybe outfits, images, all this stuff. And then when a game gets delayed, for example, let's say, for example, we got Rugby, right? And let's say you've got a new season starting out in September. Now, when a new season starts, typically what changes the most within teams? The kit. So it might have a new brand, it might have a new sponsorship on there, it might look different, right? So the kit is normally quite a big thing. And the same with stadiums. If you're getting licensed stadiums, the stadiums could change. And so let's say, for example, Rugby was meant to come out in, I don't know, March, right? So it's halfway through the season, there's no kit changes which we're aware of. So getting the approval process is all good because they're happy, right? But let's say the game got delayed until October, right? A month after the season started. Let's say, for example, Saracens, their kit has changed. Or, for example, maybe they went from Unite to Castore, or they went from City Index to, Consistent Media, whatever it might be, right? And when sponsorship changes and, there's 130 plus teams being licensed, there's a high chance that some of these teams have had some new contracts and they have to get approval from no sponsorships as well in order for them to be in the game, right? So it's kind of a common thing, and that's kind of we've learned recently. So thanks to Ross for kind of giving us that information. But Ross replied back to Jason and said, "Not really. They also delay into approval." So he says some manufacturers of equipment will allow us in advance. Some want to do their own launch/reveal. So talk about kits, right? Saracens might say, "Well, we want to do our reveal first. We don't want people to know about our new kit from a game. We want to do our, our kit reveal ourselves." So that kind of makes sense to some degree as to why there could be some delays. And also that some of them are worried about piracy, people having hacking the game and all that stuff, and they don't want it too far in advance, right? We've seen that with Rockstar and GTA and Insomniac Games and all that stuff. So it's pretty interesting. However, from a few days ago, and it actually says as of today, if you go to Steam, and obviously Steam is a PC platform, tiebreak is now available on there. And it says release date of the 18th which was yesterday, obviously recording this on the 19th. And we spoke about this early access, right? This early access, which they are talking to us about. And it's kind of new. It wasn't mentioned at the beginning of this, but now it's like, okay, we have this early access. What does it mean? Could it happen with Rugby 24? You know, so that's why it's kind of interesting to see what happens with tiebreak. Could it also happen with Rugby 24? So it says here on Steam. So if you head over to Steam, right, and you see a wonderful trailer of the game, blah, blah, blah. And obviously the developer says Big Ant Studios, publisher Nacon, etc. And then you scroll down, right? So you scroll down and you see this like information in the description. And right now it's only £25. I don't know if it's cheaper because early access, but if they do it at Rugby 24, I'm down. Like if the game's cheaper because it's early access, a bit like Minecraft back in the day. If you guys remember that game, who doesn't remember Minecraft? But like, you know, that was pretty cool. But it says here, right, this early access is not complete and may not change further, which is a bit of a worry, isn't it? It's like this early access is not, so the game is not complete. But also, please note, the game may or may not change any further. So it's kind of like you're kind of dealing, a bit like Minecraft, once again. And if you're not excited to play this game in its current state, then you should wait to see if the game progresses further in development. A little bit worried about a little statement there. But it says here what the developers have to say. So it's interesting, right? So why early access? So it says here, our ambition with Tiebreak is to create the best and most complete tennis game to date. The team are combining the strengths of AO Tennis, Tennis World 2, plus some new mechanics never seen before in the tennis game. We have developed what we believe is a very solid gameplay proposition that we now feel is ready to get into players' hands. While gathering feedback and improving the gameplay, the early access will allow us to finalize content, release additional tennis players, game modes, and tools during the updates. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of why the early access, and maybe, you know, we can see it with Rugby 24. It says here approximately, or the question is approximately how long will this game be in early access? Well, it says here, the length of the game of early access is dependent on feedback, interesting, received during the initial period of early access, but our plan is to get the final version. Oh, I've just seen this. But our plan is to get the final version of Tiebreak in your hands later in 24. So later is how long's a piece of string, mate. I mean, later means it could be whenever. It means when the missus says, I'm going out later. Well, when is later? 10 minutes? An hour? You know? Sometimes we like it when the missus goes out for ages, don't we? Because we get a bit of peace and quiet for a change, don't we? But yeah, what does Nacon and Big Ant Studios call later? That's pretty interesting. It says here, how is the full version plan to differ from the early access version? So it says here, the early access will allow us to fine-tune the gameplay as well as preparing new modes and tools. Whilst the early access version will release with a very limited number of tennis players and game modes, you can expect substantial additional content at each update. Commenting on a full version that will feature an unprecedented roster of tennis players, a full career mode, online modes, player curator, venue curator, and much more. There's also a question here, what's the current state of the early access version? So right now, Tiebreak Early Access releases with so you get quick play, multiplayer, and basic tutorials. So there's no career mode, you can't create much stuff. There is multiplayer, but I don't think that's online. It says that there'll be a selection of 12 licensed players, which will be initially available, as well as the ATP 1000 and the WTA 1000 tournaments. This question here, will the game be priced differently during and after early access? Yes, the game released at a discounted price with limited content, and the price will increase as content is added, up into the full price for the final launch. Like I said, it's very similar to Minecraft. How are you planning on involving the community in your development process? So it says here, the community will hold a key role in the shaping of the final version of the game. We'll be gathering feedback throughout the early access period to help us identify the gameplay elements that need fine-tuning and implementation of community ideas before final release. We sincerely look forward to players helping us define the future of tennis video games and are really excited to share this journey with you. So yeah, that is interesting. That is interesting. The game is available now on Steam. The one thing I want to do quickly is I want to see if Tiebreak is on the PlayStation Store, because for some reason it's on Steam now, but it's like, when are you going to be on the PlayStation Store? And it's on the PlayStation Store, yeah. So it's on Steam, but not on the PlayStation Store. And it's like, if they do this Rugby 24, I'm like, I don't want to play it on PC. I want to play it on the PS5. But anyway, there we go, guys. What are your thoughts about this? But anyway, if you have enjoyed today's video, then be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you have any comments regarding this. But anyway, you guys, thanks for watching, and as always, in my next video, adios, chaps, boom.
And our goal is not in her. She's a diamond under